What will happen if the European Parliament invites an African leader to praise them, but instead he comes and slams the West in the hardest way? Well, this just happened recently. The European Parliament has been in the habit of calling African leaders so they can give a sort of testimony to how the West cares for Africa. However, when they invited the Kenyan president, William Ruto, this time, they did not expect he would slap them in the face. Taking the stage, Ruto decided to deflect from the pro-West African leaders' approach of praising the West and its leaders. While smiling, he said the hardest words that were too difficult to be digested by the Western leaders sitting there. But what did he say that made the Western leaders nervous and shameful before the whole world? Let's know about that in this video. The way William Ruto gave a beating to the Western leaders and countries was genius. Instead of directly coming and slamming the West right away, he chose to touch every matter carefully. This was done so the Western leaders do not feel they are being slapped brutally. Otherwise, it would have caused the Western leaders to leave the parliament. Therefore, Ruto decided he would say what the West wanted him to say on world issues and environmental matters. Yet he would inject the real narrative in every line he would say, so it becomes hard for the West to filter his speech and present it in a pro-West way. That's why he received a standing ovation at the end of his speech, stunning everyone. He said that as the world navigates a new era of global interdependence, it becomes crucial for this relationship to become reciprocal. This shift should propel us towards a more balanced and equitable global partnership, incorporating a deliberate transfer of technologies and a purposeful flow of capital to the global south. Additionally, it requires securing a seat at the table to collaboratively seek solutions that benefit all of us, fostering a spirit of cooperation and mutual understanding. Well, he was referring to the historical exploitation of Africa, which comes in the south, while the European countries are in the north, who have plundered the resources of Africa. For centuries, Africa's natural resources and wealth flowed to Europe, and the Western countries built their economies on them, developing and becoming one of the most modern nations in the world. But this was possible only due to the global South's natural resources. Ruto said that in this context, it is vital to reevaluate long-standing assumptions that may not always be valid, reconsider perceived barriers, and question default decisions. In other words, he urged Europe to develop a habit of accepting other countries to develop and rise on the world stage without feeling threatened. Also, Europe has to accept that from now on, the global South's natural resources, including Africa, will be used to develop those regions. Gone are the days when Europe claimed rights to everything discovered in any part of the world. Ruto then talked about the environment to make the atmosphere of the parliament less offensive. He said we must embrace a bold and strategic approach, taking decisive steps towards the structural shift necessary to fulfill the 2030 agenda for sustainable development and maintain global warming at 1.5 degrees C. This formed the foundation of the September inaugural Africa Climate Summit held in Nairobi. The summit served as a platform not just for discussing the challenges we face, but for viewing them through the lens of solutions and opportunities. Hence, there is hope because a tangible opportunity exists to achieve sustainable and equitable prosperity for all of humanity. Ruto said it presents a chance for the European Union to expedite its transition to net zero, decarbonize its industry, and build the future economy. Similarly, it is an opportunity for Africa to ensure security and stability for all Africans while rightfully claiming its place in the 21st century economy. The Africa Climate Summit concluded with the Nairobi Declaration, delineating the vision and pathway for Africa as a pivotal part of the global solution to the existential climate change challenge. The declaration mirrors the consensus of African government leaders for climate-positive growth. Ruto said Africa possesses the world's largest untapped renewable energy potential, the youngest and fastest-growing workforce, and abundant natural resources. For example, 60% of the world's best solar potential and 60% of the remaining unused arable land are in Africa. These assets position Africa to produce cost-competitive green products and services from the outset and offer high-quality carbon removal services. Ruto proclaimed that regarding the green economy, Africa's reality stands in stark contrast to that of Europe. More than 600 million Africans lack access to energy, a foundational requirement for dignified living and the provision of essential services like health and education. Compounding this challenge is the staggering fact that almost 1 billion Africans cannot access clean cooking. While the global narrative often focuses on energy transition, for much of Africa, the emphasis is on energy growth, expansion, and accessibility. The way Africa confronts this challenge holds significant importance, both on a regional and global scale. It hinges on whether Africa can evolve into a green powerhouse, contributing to the worldwide endeavor to decarbonize. Equally critical is the emphasis on providing education and opportunities for Africa's youth. Through investments in education and skills development, Africa can cultivate a powerful, self-sustaining economy, providing its youth with compelling reasons to shape their future within the continent. This strategy, complemented by structured migration, can alleviate the strain on regions like Europe, which increasingly rely on economic migrants to sustain their living standards. Ruto claimed that embracing this agenda isn't merely a choice, but an imperative. The alternative, neglecting Africa's development and industrialization and failing to invest in the younger generation, is not a viable option. Take Kenya, for instance, where the government already boasts a 92% green grid. Ruto said that our challenge isn't just reaching 100%, we will achieve that. The true challenge lies in expanding it from its current capacity of merely 3 gigawatt, less than 25% of the Paris metropolitan area, despite having a population 5 times larger. Our aim is ambitious, to propel our green energy production to 100 gigawatt by 2050, propelling green industrialization and fostering prosperity through sustainable growth. In June of this year, he said that the Kenyan parliament enacted legislation establishing the groundwork for the domestic production of 10 million tons of green hydrogen by 2030, and the importation of a similar quantity to fuel Europe's green industry. He then switched his tone, saying that, for centuries, the Western perspective has cast Africa as nothing more than a playground for exploitation, a vast expanse ready for plunder. Our resources were looted, our people exploited, and our lands left barren. However, a transformative wind is sweeping across the continent, unveiling a new era illuminated by the vibrant green glow of Africa's ascent as a global green powerhouse. No longer satisfied with the role of raw material suppliers, Ruto said that we are now harnessing the immense potential of our geothermal energy, extensive mineral reserves, and abundant renewable resources to drive our green revolution. This isn't just a strategic shift, it's a fundamental transformation, a rejection of the chains of the past, and an audacious embrace of a self-determined future. The groundbreaking green fertilizer plant in Kenya stands as a testament to this spirit. By liberating itself from reliance on imported fertilizers, Kenya not only secures its food supply, but also showcases that Africa is not merely a technology consumer, but a leader in its development and implementation. Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. Yet, this is only the beginning. Ruto asked that very soon, Africa would be the place where bauxite would not be merely exported as raw material, but would be transformed into aluminum using our abundant renewable energy, generating countless jobs and eliminating millions of tons of CO2 emissions. He asked to imagine a continent where green steel and sustainable fuels flow abundantly, propelling the global green economy and fostering energy independence for all. Ruto said this isn't a fanciful dream, but a tangible reality within our reach. We are no longer helpless victims. We are a continent of resourceful, innovative, and determined people united in the pursuit of a green future. However, we can't achieve this alone. Ruto said we encourage the West to abandon exploitative practices and embrace a genuine partnership with Africa. We welcome their technology and capital, but only under the condition that they empower our people rather than exploit them. Ruto said how nice it would be to have a world where Europe and Africa collaborate, each contributing strengths to shared goals of decarbonization and global prosperity. Europe benefits from competitive green products and services from Africa, while Africa leverages European technology and capital to expedite its green industrialization. Ruto said that this is the win-win scenario we aspire to, a partnership founded on mutual respect and shared responsibility. The West must acknowledge that its past actions have burdened Africa with a vast debt, hindering our access to the capital necessary for development. We call on them to reduce borrowing costs and provide fair and equitable investment opportunities. The era of empty promises and exploitative practices is over. Africa is ascending, no longer to be treated as a source of cheap resources. We are prepared to assume our rightful position as a leader in the global green economy, and we invite the West to join us on this journey. Ruto declared, seeing the Western leaders in the eye, that together we can construct a greener, fairer, and more prosperous world for all. However, let us not forget the lessons of the past. We must remain alert and shield ourselves from the neo-colonial tactics of the West. Yes, even if he was standing in the European Parliament, he warned Africans of the West's possible exploitative plans. Ruto said that our future must be constructed on the pillars of self-reliance, collective action, and a profound commitment to our people and planet's well-being. Only then can we genuinely break free from the chains of the past and construct a future that is authentically African. Ruto's words were like those of a Pan-African leader. He said that the winds of change swept across the African continent, heralding the dawn of a new era. Africa has long borne the burdens of Europe's colonial history, marked by resource exploitation, the subjugation of our people, and the devastation of our lands. Yet, from the ashes of oppression, a rejuvenated Africa emerges, a phoenix with wings of resilience and talons of determination. Ruto said that we Africans find ourselves at a pivotal moment, confronting the remnants of an inequitable past while casting our gaze toward a brighter future. The current state of affairs, with its inherent injustices and imbalanced partnerships, is untenable. Ruto said boldly that we demand more than mere tokens of collaboration. We demand a seat at the table, a voice in the conversation, and a partnership grounded in mutual respect and shared benefits. Ruto said that Europe cannot solely dictate our future. Initiatives, however well-intentioned, cannot erase the deep wounds inflicted by colonialism. Economic cooperation must transcend mere trade agreements, embracing fair resource extraction and genuine investment opportunities. Energy partnerships must prioritize Africa's energy independence, ensuring our abundant resources benefit our people and fuel our development. Education and research programs are essential, but they must go hand in hand with efforts to dismantle neo-colonial structures hindering our progress. Joint health efforts are vital, but they must be coupled with commitments to address root causes like poverty and malnutrition stemming from historical injustices. Ruto said that collaborative migration management is necessary but not the sole solution. We must tackle underlying causes, such as unequal trade practices and political instability rooted in past exploitations. The conflict in Europe serves as a chilling reminder of the perils of unchecked ambition. It underscores the importance of global cooperation in times of crisis and building a just and equitable world. He said that Kenya, standing as a beacon of stability, recognizes its responsibility and is tenacious in its commitment to peace and security, especially in Somalia. That's when it is said that Kenya and Africa are ready to partner with Europe as equals, not pleaders. Ruto declared that Africa's future is not in Europe's shadow, but in our self-determination. Bursting with potential, rich in resources, and home to a talented population, Africans have the power to shape their destiny. He encouraged Europe that together, let's embark on a new era of collaboration founded on mutual respect, equitable exchange, and a shared vision for a better tomorrow. We can leave behind the shackles of the past and step into an era where Africa rises as a leader in the global community, a symbol of hope and inspiration for all. He said that from a continent awakening, shaking off the shackles of a past marked by colonialism and exploitation, emerges a new dawn. While the scars of injustice may still linger, the sun of this new era is breaking, casting its warm light on a path toward a future grounded in self-determination, shared prosperity, and mutual respect. Ruto said that a new spirit is taking root across Africa's vast continent, from the sun-scorched savannas to bustling cities. It's the spirit of a people determined to chart their destiny, harness their resources, and build a future where their children thrive in a world free from exploitation and domination. Yet this journey cannot be undertaken alone. At this crossroads, the path ahead requires a hand in partnership, a companion walking beside us, not as a master but as an equal. That's when Ruto said that he turned to Europe, not with empty pleas or demands for charity, but with a call for a new era of collaboration defined by shared objectives and cooperative efforts. Ruto said that Kenya is always at the forefront of bringing peace to the world. Therefore, in the face of interconnected challenges, as seen in Haiti, where armed groups threaten society, Kenya is ready to contribute forces to a multinational mission. This initiative demands international backing, and Europe can play a crucial role by providing resources and lending legitimacy, contributing to restoring peace and stability in Haiti. Ruto stressed that peace and security are foundational, but Africa's true potential lies in green industrialization, a future where green industries flourish, powered by the energy of our sun, wind, and geothermal resources. Emissions plummet, and Africa leads in sustainability globally. This vision requires a partnership built on equality and shared benefits. Europe, with its wealth and experience, can be a vital asset. Africa needs financial and technological investments to unlock Africa's potential for renewable energy, envisioning a continent where all have access to clean energy, emissions plummet, and Africa stands as a green powerhouse. However, if Europe tried to do what it did in the past, Africa would punish it, and this punishment would be of every exploitative measure Europe took. Therefore, Ruto asked Europe to act with goodwill and accept the reality that Africa is a continent that must be treated equally. He said that Europe can prove this by offering its market to Africa. Europe can drive demand for green products and services made in Africa through fair trade and collaboration. He mentioned that we are not asking for exemptions or lowered standards. We demand a level playing field where African ingenuity and quality can compete globally. In turn, for Europe, Africa's vast natural carbon reserves offer a unique partnership opportunity. By leveraging high-quality African carbon credits, Europe can contribute to its climate goals while benefiting from Africa's efforts to conserve and expand natural carbon sinks, a mutually beneficial exchange advancing a sustainable future. Ruto declared that the time for dominance and exploitation was over. Africa is rising, ready to take its rightful place. It's seeking partners, not patrons, collaborators, not colonizers. With Europe by our side, we can build a future of shared prosperity, environmental responsibility, and mutual respect. He said that together, as a united force, we can overcome any challenge and conquer any summit. But our journey doesn't end there. Africa's potential extends beyond green energy. With critical minerals and fertile land, by developing our agricultural sector and harnessing technology, Africa can become a global breadbasket, ensuring food security and contributing to global food stability. In turn, the European Investment Bank can step up, leveraging its expertise and capital to support green projects across Africa. By aligning European concessional and multilateral capital with our climate goals, we can unlock a new era of sustainable development that benefits both Africa and the world. Ruto stressed that finance is not the only hurdle on our path. African economies face challenges due to a lack of appropriate and sufficient investment. We grapple with exorbitant interest rates on our debt, and private investors are discouraged by high-risk premiums and short investment horizons. This creates a vicious cycle, limiting our ability to invest in infrastructure, social services, and skills development, the very foundations of a thriving economy. That's when Ruto urged the international community to embrace proposed reforms to the international financial architecture. These reforms go beyond mere numbers on a spreadsheet. They empower Africa to break free from the shackles of debt and chart its course toward a brighter future. Ruto conveyed Africa's plan to come out of the trap, where it is forced to export raw materials instead of finished consumable goods. This allows the importers of African raw materials to leverage and make profits. However, from now on, Africa will export high-quality goods and services, not just raw materials, believing in the power of collaboration to create a win-win scenario for both Africa and the world. However, Ruto confessed that our journey toward a green and prosperous future is not without challenges. Africa carries colonial scars to this day in the form of unfair trade practices and the constant threat of climate change. Yet, united and resolute, we stand firm. Africa is a continent of boundless potential, brimming with talent and innovation. Ruto said that we are Africa and will rise above the shadows of exploitation to forge a bright, sustainable, and uniquely future. For centuries, Africa has endured the heavy burden of European domination. Its abundant resources were exploited, its lands ravaged, and its people subjected to subjugation. However, like an awakening lion, Africa is now stirring. Its eyes filled with newfound awareness and its voice resonating with a resounding roar demanding accountability. While the scars of colonialism are still visible, they no longer dictate Africa's destiny. The narrative of Africa as a mere resource-rich continent for exploitation by the West is being rewritten. Africa is not just a recipient of aid, it is a rising star, ready to claim its deserved place at the forefront of global development. Ruto declared openly that the era of accepting handouts and adhering to the directives of Western powers is gone. Africa is now charting its own path, driven by self-determination and an unshakable belief in its strength. The chains of dependence are giving way to a desire for economic independence and a commitment to sustainable development. After listening to such a stunning and powerful speech, the European leaders could do nothing but stand up and present a standing ovation to William Ruto, with claps reverberating in the parliament. What do you think? After slamming the West and its colonial legacy in Africa, has Ruto turned himself into a pro-African leader? Should more African leaders who are close to the West make the West ashamed of its brutalities? Let us know your thoughts on whether the European Parliament would invite more African leaders after such a good beating by Ruto. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.